Hello everyone, welcome to our channel again, Cloud Institution. So we are the best cloud training providers. We are located in Bangalore. Okay, so today in this video we're going to see another real-time interview question on EC2. Okay, so in the recent videos we are continuously seeing all the real-time interview questions that can be accessed that can be asked by various companies. Okay, so this video once again will be a interview real-time interview question for EC2. Okay, so the question for the today is, so what is Bastion host in EC2 and why it is used? Okay, so first of all we should understand that what is Bastion host itself. Okay, so we should be understanding that what is the purpose of having the Bastion host in the EC2. So first of all, let's see what is Bastion host. Okay, so the answer for this one is the Bastion host, sometimes called as a jump box. Okay, so we can call it a jump server or Bastion server, all these things, right? So it's called as a jump box. It's a server that provides a single point of access from external network to the resources located in a private network. So the server exposed to the external public network, such as the internal, and the poses potential security risks, all these things, unauthorized access, right? So we'll see in real time like how this has been called. Okay, for example, if you're going for so if you're going for real time, okay, for example, so I'm going to write a VPC. Okay, so sorry, so this is my VPC. Okay, so now I've created a two subnets. Okay, one subnet is going to be a um, public subnet. Another one is going to be my private subnet. Okay, so for example, I've created two instances. Okay, I've created two instances inside a private subnet, and I've created two instances inside the public subnet. Okay, sorry. Um, okay, so now, so as we know that this is VPC, right? This is VPC, and this is subnet, so public subnet, and then what's the private subnet? Okay, so all the public subnet will be having the instance, right? The VM1. Okay, so the VM2, let's say. Okay, so here so VM1 and VM2, let's say, for example. Okay, VM2. So now what happens is that if anybody wanted to access this instance from outside, from the internet. So what happens is that we should be accessing. Okay, so anybody can access these instances with this which from the public subnet. Okay, so if he is having an access, for example, I have an access to this public so public subnet, which all the the security group is enabled for me, so I should be able to access it. Okay, so what about this one, private subnet? So basically what we are doing for this one is that we are going to create one of the instance whatever has been deployed over public subnet as a jump server. Okay, jump box or jump server, or bastion server, or bastion host. So what happens is that so we will be allowing all the SSH connectivity from this jump server or bastion server to the private subnets, because I will not be able to access so these instances directly from the internet. Okay, because it is already in the private subnet. I will not be able to access these instances from my from my laptop with the public IP to the private subnet instances. So what I have to do now is that I have to create the bastion server. So what do you mean by bastion server? So bastion server is nothing but that server has been deployed in the public subnet, okay, which have an so public subnet, that subnet which have an access to the private subnet. Okay, so what we'll be doing here is that sorry, private subnet. Okay, so what we'll be doing here is that so we're going to copy. Okay, for example, this is my machine. Okay, I'm going to explain it to you. I'm going to explain it to you this machine here. Okay, so now if this is the machine, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to add all this private the private key to here. I'll be adding all the private key of all the virtual machines to this jump server. Okay, so now if you wanted to access, okay, so let's say this is the VM, right? So I've added all the the PEM keys, PEM keys to this jump server. Okay, so then what I do is, okay, so in the security group, okay, I'll create a security group. I'll create a Then I'll create a security group over here. So in the security group, I'll be allowing all the traffic, we'll be able to access it only from this particular machine, virtual machine. Okay, so I'll be allowing all the, all the connections should be able to be connected to from the internet to should come here. Then that that request will go to the request will go here. Then correspondingly, it will be able to access it to that VM. Okay. So now this is a security group, right? In the security group, I'll be having, okay, so in this security group, okay, in the security group, okay, I'll be allowing all the incoming connections only from this public subnet, or only from this public subnet VM, or only from the subnet, so from the security group, which, so this particular security group is associated with this. Okay, so let's not confuse much things. So what major, so major people will be doing is that all these virtual machines, the SSH, the security, the 22 SSH port will be only accessible from this jump server. Okay, so in the last videos we have seen that, how to give IP address of the specific servers. Okay, so we need to give the enable, the SSH connectivity only from this particular machine. So because only this particular machine will be having all the, access keys of these machines. Okay, so what is the purpose of doing this one? So which means that if anybody wanted to connect to this particular, machines, they will not be able to connect. So even though if it's in a private subnet, they nobody will be knowing the PEM key of these machines. Okay, so what is the advantage of this one, and what is the disadvantage of Bastion host? So advantage of the Bastion host is that, so it can be a central point of access. It can be a central point of access from only one single machine. You should be able to connect all these servers. Okay, so that is one thing. This will be very, very secure. Okay, so what happens if you lose, or if you lose this virtual machine, if you lose this jump server? Okay, what happens is that, so at the disadvantage, you will never be able to access all this, the private subnet virtual machines from any, from any other means, because, so this is the central point of failure, right? Because this is the only one systems where it has connectivity to all the other virtual machines in the private subnet. Now, if this machine is lost or terminated by mistake, all the connectivity will be lost. Okay, so that is the reason why what is the best practice of doing is that we'll be having the backup, so backup jump server here. Okay, so we'll be, most of the times we'll be having a backup, backup jump server. Okay, so most of the times what we do is we take a snapshot of this particular jump server and we'll be restoring it here, so that, all the access key, secret keys, sorry, all the, the private keys, whatever we have stored in this particular virtual machines will not be lost. Okay, it can be available over here as well. Okay, this is what called the jump server. Okay, so hope you understand why we use jump server, right? So now if you can read this description again, you'll be able to understand it. Okay, so when I read it first time, you get confused, right? So the Bastion host, sometimes called a jump server, is a server that provides a single point of access, right? So we have seen it here. It's a single point of access to this all the private subnet virtual machines. Okay, so the external network is access to from the external network to resources located in a private network. Okay, now we understand it, right? So this is what the overall definition of jump server or Bastion server. So why we need to use it in a production environment, right? To have a secure connectivity. Okay, so hope you understand this video, right? So if you wanted to see similar videos like this one, please follow our channel. We'll be posting a lot of channels, a lot of videos like this one. So these kind of videos you will never be seeing anywhere in the internet. Most often, whatever the videos, questions we are posting, there are really so gathering from the company, because I myself used to take a lot of interviews to the various companies, to the candidates. Okay, so I myself will be asking all these kind of questions to the candidates. Okay, so if you really like this video, please like and share, and subscribe to our channel for more videos. Okay, thank you so much, and see you again in the next video.